So there's something really important here. There's something really
Yes.
important about this,
Uh-huh.
which is that I don't know if the listeners understand the joy that is derived from like letting it run longer, because this is a thing where, again, this is not a video podcast, but we have our cameras on to see each other and to
Yeah.
help, create some better chemistry here. And so, and we're like, the theme is playing live on the tape.
Yeah,
We
we have
both
the
hear it.
band right here.
Yeah, we have the full band. And so it's like when I let it run long, I'm staring directly at the video of Jess, and we're just both like, it's just like we're both like kind of cracking each other up. And so I just want you to know, like, you just might think, oh, it's like, oh, Ben, when he was editing it, like he just put it, oh, he just let it run a little long. He doesn't have like a standard copy paste of the theme. No, this is playing, like, the audio file is playing live to Jess and I,
Mhm.
and we are like, it is a game of chicken.
Yeah, it's great. Like you look at Ben and he has like the most devilish look on his face with like his hand like poised over the button that will shut it off. And like as it goes longer and longer, like his mouth is like growing wider with this grin and
Bigger
his
grin.
eyebrows are arching more and more. And it's just like he's like, yeah, right before my eyes morphing into some sort of theme song demon. It's and I'm just on I'm on pins and needles. I'm just waiting to see when he's going to end it all. And I've got all these great things in my mind I've got to say, and they're like all slipping away while Ben is just hitting that theme song. So yeah.
It's part of my strategy to make sure that, because at the end of every podcast, um the listener is invited to see who do they think won this podcast.
Yes, and
And this little filibuster is part of, like, it's a dominance play.
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, Ben is definitely running this whole thing like it's some sort of yeah. There's definitely dom play going on here at some level, and you know I'm fine with it. I consented to all of it, but it's Ben is definitely out to win this podcast every single episode.
Yeah. Well, this is Quest.
The Adventure Game Podcast.
I'm Ben, PS_Garrick on Twitch, and whenever I update it, YouTube too.
Yeah. And I'm Jess. That's Decaf Jedi on all your favorite video sharing sites, Daily Motion,
Mhm.
everywhere.
You didn't have any more? I thought you were gonna say like
No, just Daily
Kick
Motion and
or
all
like
the others. Like, where else do I mean, Rumble. I'm huge on Rumble.
Rumble. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely big on Rumble. Bumble, big over there
you're
too.
you're 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 big on Rumble. You're big on Bumble. You're big on
Tumblr.
Tumblr. Yeah.
I, I do a little bit of lo-fi indie rap, so I'm doing okay on Mumbler. It's I'm on all the major channels.
Mm. How you doing tonight, Jess?
I'm doing pretty well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean
I bought that.
I can't complain. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what I'm running on. I'll tell you what I'm running on, Ben.
Duncan, like all of America.
All of America. I'm running on Dunkin'. That's what I had for breakfast and lunch and dinner. Just Dunkin' at every meal. So like I'm going strong from all that Dunkin' energy. But then right before our podcast, I wrecked a big bowl of edamame, and I've got that soybean and salt energy coming into this.
You got the
podcast.
SB and S.
That's right. SBNS is what they call it.
Eating a ton of edamame feels like it's a dangerous game,
It can be.
because it feels like that's the kind of like snack that, like, you'll eat and eat and eat and eat, and it's like this kicks ass, this kicks ass, this kicks ass, and
Mhm.
then it's like one of those things where like you just kind of feel its presence.
Yeah, I mean, there's no amount of edamame that's too much, right? Like, I mean, you just like can continue eating it endlessly. But after the fact, there is an amount that was too much. You just don't know it as you're eating
Right.
it. Yeah, it's like it's a food that will catch up with you. I struggle with hummus in the same way. Like for me, any amount of hummus is the right amount of hummus, but
Hummus is a hummus is tough. Do you
it's the
make
danger
hummus?
zone.
Because
Well,
it's a pretty easy thing to
oh
make.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
even out of just like the worst canned garbanzo beans in the
Yeah.
world, you can make a pretty decent hummus.
Like I know the like I have made high effort hummus,
Mm-hmm.
like where I remove all the skins and I'm very very delicate with how I measure stuff out. And
Mm-hmm.
then maybe even I'll make like some sort of protein like a ground beef or like a spiced like something to put on top and like serve it with really good pita. Or I'll just get the $1 can of chickpeas and, like drain it and like barely rinse it and then just like kind of eyeball like tahini and whatever else
Yeah.
and then just be like, nah, good enough. And you want to, this is something I think about because I cook all the time. And like the difference between like like a B like a B minus to a B plus
Yes.
version of something that takes like 30 to 40 minutes, or even in the case of hummus, that takes like 10 minutes. Or versus like the thing that takes like a ton of effort. What is like that space in there? Like if it's something like it's hummus and it takes 15 minutes, 10 minutes to make, and then or like you remove all the skins and do all that. And that takes let's peg that at like an hour.
Yeah.
And I know that there are ways to speed that up. I've tried them. I don't care for them. I just remove them. I put on a TV show and I just
Mm-hmm.
I just do that. But like the difference between like that hummus or what it's worth to me
Yes.
is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is just an occasional treat thing and
Yeah.
not a like do it all the time thing. It's the same
Right.
with I have like a recipe for risotto that takes all day.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like this all day risotto
Mm-hmm.
preparation thing and it makes the best risotto.
Yes.
It makes perfect risotto. It's
But a
incredible.
quickie risotto is still better than 98% of the foods on the planet.
Right.
Is the yeah. So
Risotto that you just dump into an instant pot that
yes.
takes you 20 minutes of barely any effort
Mm-hmm.
is like B. And so it's just like, well, do I want to spend my whole fucking day? Or do I want to
Sometimes.
have the B?
Yeah. This is the exact logic that leads me to conclude that my favorite hummus is just taking a can opener to a can of chickpeas and just pouring them directly into my mouth. I'll make
Like,
hummus in my stomach.
yeah. Like, and then you just open it. Are you like Popeye with the can of
Yeah, I just
chickpeas? Like you
squeeze
just
all the
squeeze it?
chickpeas
Yeah.
and yeah, and I mean, I will just eat some chickpeas. Well, now again,
I'll sneak a
yeah,
chickpea.
yeah. I mean, I do feel like we lost something as a society when we moved away from calling them garbanzo beans, though. I still call they're still garbanzo beans to me. I feel like
They've
that's
always
such a
been chickpeas
see. I think garbanzo bean is such a more
to me.
charming term, and I don't know. I assume that's Italian, or like who knows?
I have no idea. I've never existed in a well, but you want to know what is the thing is that my dad hates chickpeas.
What?
So
Jazz Fest dad
my
hates chickpeas?
Jazz Fest dad, my dad has a lot of like picky food, picky eater things. And so
Yeah,
um like uh so they just weren't in the house.
yeah.
Like that
Oh, yeah.
was like and also it's like when when I was a kid, and probably when you were a kid, like hummus was not something you could just get at the grocery store.
It wasn't like a standard accompaniment to the average American
It's a
meal. If
standard
you're going to
snack
like
now.
Kroger or somewhere like that, yeah, you're not just going to snag some hummus real easy in a lot of America circa 1990.
Yeah, like it's crazy to consider now, but like it was like, if you think about, like, if you watch like an early
Hmm.
90s sitcom that has like that episode where they go to a sushi restaurant.
Oh man, I was just thinking the same thing. Like I'm thinking about like the first time I saw Breakfast Club, and there's the scene where Molly Ringwald's character is there in the library, and she gets out like her sushi lunch, and everybody's like giving her sort of like that's so bougie kind of vibes because she's eating sushi when everyone else is like brown bagging it, and we're supposed to think she's like a spoiled little rich girl, but
I
actually
mean, I
she
think
has
it
real
is
problems too. She has real problems too, Ben. That's the
I
whole
think
point
it
of the
is a
movie.
little bougie to have
Yeah,
sushi as your
I mean, arguably yes.
school lunch.
But I
Like maybe,
remember
like I don't know.
watching that as a kid and thinking, I wonder if I will ever eat sushi one day. I wonder if someday I will see sushi and have an opportunity to eat it. And then it was like a mere just 15 years later, and there I was eating sushi for the first time.
Yeah, like
Anything can your dreams can come true, is what the moral of this story is. If you just believe, believe in yourself. You gotta
well,
believe, as my hero Parappa the Rapper says.
never played Parappa the Rapper. Was that good?
You should. It's really cute. Kick, punch. It's all in your mind.
I mean, the guy that Rodney something did the art.
Dangerfield.
Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield. The guy who did I'm gonna have to look this up. I can't. Rodney Parappa. Uh, Rodney Allen Greenblatt.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who like he made a bunch of like kind of multimedia games for little kids in the 90s, some of which I play on my stream. And like he has such a cool and distinct style. So that's really like that's my main appeal to Parappa is it's like, oh, I do like Rodney. I like Rodney's fun screen.
Yeah. I can't tell you how terrible I am at Parappa the Rapper. Like, I'm not great at rhythm
I
games
was
in
gonna
general,
say
but
that's
that
like
one
a
really like
yeah.
throws me more so than most. That one throws me. I'm okay at Guitar Hero. I like Guitar Hero.
I like some rhythm games. I'm not great at rhythm games. I'm passable at rhythm games.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
why when I came to Chicago, I was like, let's go play DDR. And you're like, I don't know, man. I was like, let's just do a big DDR thing at an arcade. And we could do like tandem DDR. And you seemed hesitant.
there is my favorite arcade in the city does have a DDR in it, and I think I've played it like it just has that has no appeal to me. I'm just there. I'm just there for the pinball.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I'm officially too old to play DDR in public as well. Like, I think it would at some level be like a spectacle. Like, people would be like, look at that old guy over there playing DDR right now. I think I've passed the expiration date on my ability to publicly play DDR.
The
And Ben, I'm
problem
not fishing for you to say, no, Jess, you're as young as Vital and as you ever were. I know what this will
that's
look
yeah.
like. Yeah,
I was
no.
gonna say the problem at my arcade is that everybody that goes there, like because it's an arcade for like arcade freaks such
Hmm.
as myself. So like the people that go up to the DDR, like you'll have people that will come in and be like, oh, a DDR, and they'll like drop a coin and be like, oh, that was fun.
Yeah,
But then you'll just see like the people kind of roll in and kind of like eye it,
yeah,
and then like
yeah.
then they take off and then they're
Yeah.
in
They
their
have
like
like
their tank top.
wristbands and stuff and
Yeah,
everything.
they're in
Like,
their tank
yeah,
top and they're like they've got like a sweatband and you're just like, oh, this is their night. And then they like do it where they've got both of their hands behind them. They're holding on to like that bar
yeah,
like they
yeah,
and I'm just like, oh, like this is that type of arcade because it's like you go to this arcade because you're serious to play these arcade games.
yeah. It upsets me deeply when I see someone who can play DDR and rather than looking like they're just trying to stomp their feet in the place where it says to stomp your feet, are somehow actually dancing. Like, I can't comprehend what that would be like if you can actually like both hit the marks and turn it into something that looks like a human dance. I just my brain and body can't comprehend that.
Speaking of comprehension, we have some emails.
Well, reading comprehension will come in handy here.
Yeah. And by some, I mean one. From our friend Martin. If I mispronounced that, very sorry. Hello! I really enjoyed your podcast, Machinarium, even though you both bounced off the game, which is understandable given it's not really like the same sort of deal as the beloved Sierra adventure game of old. I personally did enjoy Machinarium a lot, but I believe the circumstances of how I played it versus how you did so different. That perhaps sharing our circumstances will give some insights into how you could perhaps enjoy the game more yourself, or at least bounce off it less forcefully. So this is interesting.
I like this. I like this premise.
Yeah. So for myself, I played the game back in 2011. I just purchased an iPad 2 after scoffing at the iPad upon release a year earlier. You want to know who had a release iPad?
Who?
Grayson.
Really? Friend of the pod, Grayson?
Friend of the pod, Grayson. This, if I'm recalling correctly, because I remember like going to his apartment back 2010 or whatever, and like looking at it and being like, I think I like teased him about it relentlessly. What do you need this shit for? You nerd. All right. Well, anyway, it was fun to, it's always fun to remember bullying your friends.
Yeah.
I just purchased an iPad 2 after scoffing at the iPad upon release. Quote, it's just a big iPhone. What purpose could this device possibly have? That's pretty much what I was saying.
Yeah.
But then on New Year's Day, I was at a family gathering where I witnessed a small child play Spy Moose on their iPad, and I immediately realized I'd been wrong. The child wouldn't let me play. I had to go out and buy an iPad of my own.
Man.
Luckily, I had the foresight to realize that Apple would release an updated version soon enough. Although I couldn't have anticipated how significant this updated iPad would become, as it served as one of my main gaming devices for several years.
Wow.
That's
It's a lot of Angry Birds.
Well, this is okay. So this is actually pretty. So early 2010s was a magical time for iOS gaming. And I'm not going to disagree with this because you know what? I think I got it. And it's somewhere around here because I didn't throw it away. I think I have an iPad 3, and I had it essentially as a game console that I did like light iPad shit on.
Yeah.
You mentioned World of Goo, which is another game I played on that iPad. Among many others, such as beloved indie classics such as FTL. Yes. FTL on the iPad. I played that on the iPad too.
Interesting.
That was enormous fun on the iPad. I also played the enhanced edition of Baldur's Gate 1 on the iPad.
Wow.
Because I was like, when they released it there, I was like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense for a big touch screen, like that type of RPG.
You know what I loved on iPad? A little Civ Revolution.
Oh, that was a good game. They got to go back.
Oh, man.
Okay, anyway, beloved indie classics such as FTL, Monument Valley, and Kingdom, as well as many Renaissance-era point-and-click adventure games such as Gemini Rue, good game, Techno Babylon, great game, Shard Light, very good by our friend Francisco, and Kathy Rain. It's also good. I feel like now people are going to read into the
if you want to know Ben's
gave.
ranking, just look at the adjectives he used there, and you should be able to qualitatively rank those.
There's something incredibly satisfying about playing point-and-click adventure games on a tablet, allowing you to actually point and click with your finger. I agree. I don't think I played any adventure games on my iPad. Did you, Jess?
I'm wanting to think I maybe did some of the free episodes of a few of the Telltale games when those were still an iOS concern. Like, I'm almost certain I played Walking Dead for the first time on iOS.
I had the only adventure game I could think. There were a couple little ones, but none of the big ones. But I think the biggest iOS adventure game that I played on both my iPad and my iPhone was the Infocom package that they made, and then Activision didn't update to 64-bit, so it's forever lost.
Yeah. And that apocalypse that wiped out most of the classic iOS games.
The good news for me on that is if I dig up that iPad 3 and dig up a charger for it, and I care enough to do it, I could probably play that old Infocom thing because I don't think that ever upgraded to 64.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's something incredibly silly. I already said that. Another element that adds to my enjoyment of Machinarium and mustn't go unmentioned is the portability of the iPad. Allows it to be brought along on trips, notably vacations. This might be an overly European perspective that's hard to grasp for Americans, but I find it's a lot easier to enjoy a finicky puzzle game or on a lounge bed by the pool of a hotel sipping on a cocktail.
I could see that, and the way the game is chunked up, it feels very mobile friendly, which I was sitting down and playing it straight through. Maybe, solving a couple of puzzles here and there and sitting it down and coming back to it and some things like that, especially in the context of like the same way you might take a nice relaxing book on holiday with you. I could see the appeal here.
Yeah, I also agree with that assessment in that, because we both, Jess and I, played that for this podcast. And
which is probably the worst way to play any game.
Yeah. Even though both of us are playing, or at least I'm playing, you already finished it, but the game that we're playing, next week's episode, I'm playing for the podcast. I'm having a delightful time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Spoilers on me having a good time playing what we're talking about next week. But
It's gonna be Space Quest 4.
But I did have that thought, and it wasn't said. Like, that Machinarium is probably best played as a kind of pick it up and put it down game, and playing it on the iPad specifically, especially because it's kind of a different context for it than sitting down at your computer versus it's you've got that iPad screen or a tablet screen. It feels a lot less, it feels like you're doing a lot less opening it up and poking around at a puzzle and then just closing it than it does if you're doing that on a computer. The context of that?
I could also imagine that playing this on touchscreen, the tactile element of interacting with the world and the puzzles might be a little more satisfying than a mouse driven interface. I could see how, given the mechanical nature of most of these puzzles, that literally being able to get your hands on them at some level could also be a better way to go at this. I'm convinced increasingly by this argument. All right, Ben, next episode, we're playing a game that you're enjoying. Episode after that, we're revisiting Machinarium, and we're going to dig out our forsaken iPads and play it again. Sam?
I think you two would not bounce off the game if you found yourself in such a position. That's my tip for you both. You know what? Good point. Oh, and regarding the international availability of different Oreo flavors, which was mentioned on an earlier episode, I can only share this is what we have here, access to here in the Netherlands. So I'm opening up a store website of a Netherlands grocery, and this is, the great bounty of America, this is only
the promised
there's
land,
a variety here, but there's not, the richness. What I will say, so looking, because I'm not describing this at all, is that the Netherlands selection of Oreo options is largely in here, I'll send you in the chat here.
Okay,
Jess,
let's see. Let's go look at this.
is that they're mostly all base Oreos, which is to say
in different
the black
shapes.
and white cookie. It's just that they're different
Form
variations
factors.
on it.
Yeah.
So it's like Oreo vanilla wafer rolls, Oreo double cream mini bites.
Those look
like,
good.
There's less of, in fact, and when I say less of, there's the only other option that I'm seeing that of like just the we've changed the cookie or we've changed the filling is they have the golden one as an option. But it doesn't have like the red velvet or the dark chocolate or like
Selena Gomez.
the Selena Gomez flavored. That's
Yeah. I mean, this is a note to listeners everywhere. Send us photos of the food products that we talk about as they exist in your own country. We would love to know more about Oreos around the world. I'm always fascinated by bizarre Kit Kat flavors that exist around the world. Feel free to flood our mailbox with photos just like this because I want to know more about foods elsewhere. In this Quest, the Foods Ben and I are thinking about podcast.
Oh, but there's more. No doubt a very meager selection compared to what is available in the United States, but you do have to realize that the competition for Oreo is quite fierce. I'm going to send you the second. I'm going to say this competition leads off with Biscoff.
I don't care for Biscoff.
This is another classic bad Jess food take.
No, I mean, I like the flight attendant comes by and I'm like, no, actually, I'll just be hungry. That's okay.
They've got this makes sense, of course. Stroop waffles.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. They've started to have those on airplanes too.
Yeah.
Those are great.
I love a Belgian
There's
style fruit biscuit. I love a Belgian, I guess Dutch style fruit biscuit. That is right up my alley. If you'll scroll down a little bit, I've scored those at Aldi before, and those are delicious.
I always love this surprise, good big treat at Aldi. I'm zeroing in on these custard cakes.
Oh man,
that look really good. Anyway.
I got the best ramen recently at Aldi. It's like a creamy instant ramen. It's like a creamy and spicy chicken ramen. It is so savory and so creamy. It's almost like eating mac and cheese, but at the same time, it's like chickeny and spicy. It's amazing. Out of this world.
So no need to worry about us. Keep up the good work with the podcast. It's much appreciated. Cheers. Thank you so much. I was gonna abbreviate that, but it was much to chew on. I loved playing FTL on the iPad. That might even be, I don't know if that's my preferred way to play FTL, but it is definitely on par.
Wow.
With playing it with a mouse and keyboard. I loved playing, and it also I love FTL so much. Ugh. FTL
I haven't
is a
played
game,
it in years. I should revisit it.
FTL is a game that I have a couple games and maybe you have these too that every 2 to 3 years I'll get the scratch or get the itch and be like, I'm gonna play FTL and then play it very intensely for a month.
Yeah.
Play nothing but FTL. Only play FTL. And then go that's all the FTL I need. And then 2 to 3 years later, I'll go.
You gotta get it again. Got that itch.
So I played FTL I had that happen to me last year. So I got at least another year before I get back into it. Another game that exists like that for me is Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like
Ooh.
every like 2 years, I get the itch, and I'm like,
Did you see that the Mars Attacks theme park sim
it's
came
supposed to be
out?
good.
I've heard it's all right. I can't believe that. That seems fascinating to me.
I
Um,
am also surprised by that, and I am intrigued. Yeah,
yes.
I haven't like looked too much into it, other than that people said that it's supposed to be good, and like, which was just very interesting to me.
Yeah, the last thing I would have expected. And it's called Mars Attracts,
Oh,
which
that's
is
funny.
such a good title. Mars Attracts. It's a park management sim set in the iconic universe of Mars Attacks trademark. What a great, weird idea. It
All
looks
right.
really good, man. We need to play this. Not for
Well,
this podcast.
yeah, it is an adventure game. And speaking of adventure games, Jess, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Um, you know, I've spent a little bit of time recently, like a game that was a really fun distraction for me for a bit just a couple of days ago is one that I've seen a lot of people talking about on the internet. It's a web-based game from the
Oh, I
website.
heard about this.
Yes, from Neil.fun, and it's called I'm Not a Robot. And basically, the concept of the game is it's played entirely in your browser, and it is a series of increasingly ridiculous captchas to prove that, in fact, you're not a robot, that you are a human, which starts very easily with just like all the captchas, you know. And eventually they start getting a little tricky. Like you get to that existential question of like, what counts as a stop sign in this photo? Is the pole part of a stop sign? Is the little corner that's like 2 pixels outside of this box, is that part of the stop sign? And you have to make calls like that to proceed. And each level, it becomes more and more difficult to prove your humanity and more ridiculous. I don't want to spoil too much of it because they get pretty wacky, but it involves everything from eventually you like have to, you know, hit the checkbox to prove you're human, but it will start moving and making it difficult to catch up with it with your mouse cursor and other things of that sort. Just getting more and more ludicrous. It's a cute diversion for like 15 or 20 minutes. I highly recommend it. It's neal.fun, Neal.fun. I'm Not a Robot. Just a really charming web game. And I'm actually late to Neal.fun. I've been clicking through some of these other games that are housed there, and there are a lot of really charming ones. I particularly enjoyed Absurd Trolley Problems, which gives you sort of the classic philosophical exercise of the trolley problem and keeps giving you more and more ludicrous examples of, well, what if this was the scenario? Does that change whether or not you flip the lever and send the trolley hurtling toward a bunch of innocent people? Like, would you do it if it was your greatest enemy that was going to be hit? Those sorts of questions. So it's a fun site, but I really enjoyed it. I'm Not a Robot. It was a good time.
I'll have to check that out because yeah, I saw a lot of people posting about it, and I was like, that sounds interesting, and then just kind of, you know, never got to.
If anything, like, I think the fun is in seeing after each level how it's going to heighten it again. And like, once you get to the next screen, you're like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. For real? This is what it is now? And it just keeps pulling that trick over and over again, which I think that's the fun, just seeing how far it can take this concept of increasingly impossible captchas to complete. Like one of them is you have to draw a perfect circle with your mouse. I think you have to have like a 94% accurate circle in 4 seconds or less on your screen. And that one, I think I spent about 10 minutes alone. Like I got to like 93.7 and couldn't beat it. And eventually tipped over to 94 with drawing a perfect circle with my mouse. But that, if you enjoy that kind of just like fun little diversion, great way to waste a little bit of time. Ben?
Yeah.
What have you been playing?
Well, Jess, so recently I've been like kind of poking around on GOG. Good old games.
Mm-hmm.
They did this thing. I don't know how recently. This could have been like a couple months ago, or could have been years ago, and I just never noticed. But they've started to post ready-made, modded out versions of the games.
Yeah, this is fascinating to me.
And I like, I think I've said this on the podcast, but I am pro mod. I am against making them work.
Yes. I'm too lazy to install mods, but God bless the people making them.
Like, yeah, I think I've said this. It's like, like I would love to have a really cool version of Skyrim with all the trimmings.
Mm-hmm.
But that's so much fucking work, and don't tell me it's not. Like, don't you dare.
I modded out Fallout New Vegas last time I played it quite a bit, and it was one of the most harrowing experiences of my life.
You have to go to like this website where unless you pay the money, everything downloads slow.
Yeah.
And then like you have to set everything up to load in some special order. Blah,
and
blah.
now when I say harrowing, I do mean someone had written a perfect 36-step guide for babies.
Oh my
God. And if I could simply follow that, it worked. But even then, it's just like 36 steps is a lot of steps for a guy like me.
So, I think like in the world of GOG trying to figure out how to differentiate itself, I think this is a good idea because, like, I'm mod curious, but I'm not mod effort. And it's like, GOG had like this wonderful, like all these great, all these great games, and then Steam was like, oh yeah, we'll put all of those on there too. And then that became a big problem. So this is like a really nice differentiator. And so this was a good, I was curious and I saw they have a ready version of a Diablo 1 HD mod.
Oh.
Called Beelzebub. And I am pronouncing it. This is interesting. It is the name of the mod. If you look it up, it is Beelzebub, Belzebub. Beelzebub. Beelzebub.
Mm-hmm.
But in the write-up, I think someone was getting like spell corrected when they wrote the write-up. Because it does spell it as Beelzebub in the write-up on GOG. But anyway, it is Diablo 1, and it runs nice and windowed, which is...
Oh, I'm perfect. Right there. You've got me.
On Windows of today, 10 or 11, it goes up to 1080p. Like, it goes up to, like, so... but you can zoom in with your mouse wheel, so it's like you can have like a big, way far out view of your little guy, or you can zoom in and it's gonna be a little, pixely and blurry, but you could do that if you'd like. They added a couple new classes, including like they threw in, I think was it. What's the class they added in Hellfire? Whatever that one was, that one's in there. Then they added like one or two more. There's Warrior, Sorcerer, Rogue. Those are the base ones. And then Necromancer and Barbarian. I think Barbarian was what they added in Hellfire.
That sounds right.
Now there's 4 difficulty levels, a bunch of gameplay improvements and changes. It's widescreen. There's crafting. They added some like quests that were like, this is always, whenever there's a mod, quests that like, weren't implemented, they put back in there. But there's new spells and new items and blah, 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 blah.
Were you a Diablo'sman back in the day? Did you play this at time of release?
I didn't play Diablo at the time, but I did. Here's a weird take. I think Diablo 1 might be the one I like the most.
Interesting. I think it's the one I've spent the most time with, personally.
And the reason for that is that I think Diablo 1 is the one that gives you the most enjoyable, like, single player experience.
Yes.
Like, Diablo 2, which I've had a ton of fun with. Like, Diablo 2 is only, and like, I've only played 2 and 3. I haven't played the 4.
Yeah.
But 2, like, obviously that's a LAN party classic. That was a lot of fun to play with my friends at a LAN party. I'm not going to take that away, but like for like a single player experience, I thought Diablo 2 was just not as much fun. I think Diablo 1 is a considerably more entertaining and engaging, to me anyway, single player experience. There's just little things about Diablo 1 that just always, like, I just always liked a little bit more. I'm not a hardcore Diablosman, but that is like another thing where, like, that's a genre that, like, every once in a while I'm like, I want to play a, like, one of those ARPGs. Like,
Did you ever do Torchlight? Did you ever spend any time with that one?
I got Torchlight 1 and 2, and
yeah, well, everyone owns it. That's one of those things that everyone's gotten in a bundle at some point by now.
And Torchlight 1 just did not do it for me. I don't know. And then Torchlight 2, which was, like, I played a fair amount of Torchlight 2, especially during, like, in 2020 with friends. But it never quite did it for me, and I couldn't tell you why, but it just didn't.
You need that extreme, like, hell dimension sort of vibe. You like that very metal, like, demon thing to really get going.
And recently I got the last Epic, whatever. And I played a little bit of that, and I think it's fine. But I think, I think it's just one of those things where it's just like, it's kind of, it might just be a got it in one.
Yeah.
For the single player experience, at least. Like, I can't, but like for the single player experience, something about like the first Diablo just really, I don't know, I just enjoy it more. I can't tell you why. I just like it. This is the one that I like the most. Also, you can up your walking speed in the town with the mod.
Oh, thank God.
So you don't walk slowly. Are you a Diablosman?
I've spent the most time with Diablo 1. There was a summer when I was home from college that my best friend and I spent a lot of time in dial-up playing Warcraft 2 and playing Diablo. That was sort of, I think, pirated copies of both of them. But we were dialing into each other's modems for most of that summer. Neither one of us were working. And just played a whole lot of Blizzard games that summer. And I will agree, I think I played all the Diablo games, to varying degrees. For me, I honestly, in the absence of having like a friend nearby that I can play with easily, most of my Diablo time has been single player Diablo, and I gotta say, I think I like Diablo 1 for that same reason. It was interesting to hear you say that, because I can't quite put my finger on what the difference is. I'm guessing at the time they were scared to death to make a game that was geared and like balanced and everything entirely toward multiplayer. That was such an uncertain premise in the mid-90s to say, this is a game that we're selling as a multiplayer game rather than this is a game with multiplayer, which makes me wonder if that's why the first one's balanced a little more in favor of single player being a workable mode.
Yeah, my understanding, and I could absolutely be wrong, is that the multiplayer was just kind of a, hey, let's just do this, like just kind of a throw-in. And then,
throw it on
like,
the disc.
That was such, like, became the appeal, and so then they were like, okay, Diablo is a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
And that's fine, because the most fun that I've had with with 2 and 3 and Torchlight 2 have been with friends.
Yeah.
And like the most fun I had with 3 was I had 3 on my Switch, and I played it couch co-op with a friend of mine,
Oh,
like for hours. Like
yeah.
him and I like would hang out at my place and just play it on my Switch on my TV, and that was like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I probably only played it single player for like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes and was just
Yeah.
like, I don't know, this isn't that much fun.
I just used it to scam people in the real money auction house. That's all I did, was just like try to make big money selling stuff in there before they got rid of it.
And the thing is also, it's like, my other problem is that I don't have that many friends that are into like playing Diablo or any of its, you know, subsequent iterations in multiplayer. And I only like, I don't play multiplayer with strangers. I just don't.
Not if I can help it. I mean, I play a lot of like Overwatch and stuff, but that's more of a matter of necessity.
Yeah, that's different.
But, like, and that's over in 5 minutes, and you're with another terrible group of strangers.
I have a friend that will play, like, he'll play a bunch of games with like strangers and stuff, and he'll like just tell these stories of, it's just like, oh yeah, there was this guy and we was playing and like he said all these horrible things, and it would be like, you know, there's a really easy way not to have to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's never play with strangers. That's what my parents told me to do when I was 10, and now I'm almost 40.
Yeah.
30 years later.
This is absolutely the answer. Yeah, I mean, I've made the mistake like once and only once of wandering into a lobby to play a little bit of Borderlands with some random strangers, and boy, that combination is a dangerous combination. Borderlands players you don't know are the worst people on earth.
Yeah.
Sorry, Borderlands players that I don't know.
Yeah, they're not a friend you haven't met. All right. Well, you know, today we're going a little extreme.
We're not
Today
holding
we're
anything
taking
back.
no prisoners.
Oh, that's right. Bad
We're going
news,
hard.
adventure game devs. We're coming for you.
We're going hard. Watch out there. We're gonna get you. These are harsh truths. We're harsh truth tellers.
Yeah, and you know the thing is, like, nobody up to this point has really ever complained about adventure game puzzles before.
That's
and
right.
We're gonna blow the lid off of this thing.
That's right.
We are going to.
That's right.
Everybody out there is too afraid because they're worried they'll hurt someone's feelings.
Oh, ooh, boo, hoo, hoo.
I'm putting you on blast, adventure game designers.
All right, I'm gonna break kayfabe here, like 30 seconds into it, to say there is nothing that turns me off more than an internet badass.
Oh God. Oh yeah.
Honestly, in person too, like somebody that puts on those airs, but especially on the internet, because it's the internet. Like, and I don't care that like now everybody does it. Like, is everybody's on the internet, and so they, you know, they might actually ride a motorcycle. Like,
Yeah,
but
sure. Someone on the internet probably does.
yeah, there's got to be at least one person on a motorcycle that's been on the internet. But like, especially if it's like I'm the real badass on the Star Trek forum. Like, I'm the toughest motherfucker on this Mystery Science Theater 3000 forum.
This is starting to sound like targeted toward a specific person or persons you've encountered. Like, you give us a username.
Is this based on internet people I've seen? Absolutely. Is there like a specific? No, but it's like they exist, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And the people listening to this, if you're not nodding to this, take a look in that mirror, my friend.
You know, for me too, like, I can't stand, like, the badassedness is obnoxious. I also can't stand like the performative outrage about bad games. Like, there was a time when I could, you know, handle your angry game reviewer, and today is not that time. Like, there's like, we could do this whole thing. It's like our topic is going to be about adventure game puzzles that we don't like, that we
Yeah.
no, more extreme, that we hate. But I
We
mean,
hate these. Fuck you.
yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna be like, this is a
If
steaming
you
pile
ever
of
have this
donkey
puzzle in this,
shit. Yeah,
you ever have this puzzle in a game and you made it, you're a bad person.
yeah.
You have poor moral fiber.
Poor Morble Fiber.
Poor.
Poor Morble Forber. Poor Morble.
You got poor fiber.
Erbergerd. Gerspurps.
Now, see, I hate internet badasses, but I love
Ermagerd. Gerspurps.
that one still works for me.
That one's still really funny. I showed that to my daughter the other day. She watched the Goosebumps movie. And I was like, I walked in, I was like, what are you watching? She's like, I'm watching Goosebumps. And I'm like, Ermagerd. And she's like, what? And I was like, gotta see this meme. And I showed her, she's like, that's pretty funny, Dad. And it's hard to get a meme by a 12-year-old. That is not an easy task. But Ermagerd Gersmerps are per Merle Furbra. Works pretty well, yeah. Man
Per
of
murder fervor.
Man of Lur Merble Furble from
I mean,
Merle, Ireland.
well, that makes me think of the classic Dr. Demento sketch
Oh, here we
of
go.
a large orange drink.
Mm-hmm.
You know that one? Remember that
No,
one?
I know of Dr. Demento, but I don't know if I've ever seen a moment of Dr. Demento.
Well, it was a radio show, so you
Yeah,
kind
well,
of.
yeah, I mean, you can see a radio.
You know what? Good point. But it's called fast food. It was this old it was this bit that they would play on Dr. Demento's radio show, which I think he just stopped, which
Yeah, I
is
think so. Very, very recently.
he's a very old man. But anyway, it was just like it was, and this is from a more innocent time where this could be a whole joke for
Mm-hmm.
2.5 minutes. Is somebody is it's a radio sketch they would play on the novelty comedy show of Dr. Demento, where it was somebody trying to order like a large fast food order from a drive-through window, and the radio was and the last, kind of like, nothing's funnier than explaining a joke. Um, it's, like Night at the Opera, and it always ends with a large orange drink. You know.
Ben,
Anyway,
while we're talking Dr. Demento,
yeah, let's keep going. Let's
have
not
you
never.
seen
Let's Yeah. What's up?
have you seen the Weird Al story, the film with
I
Daniel
have not.
Radcliffe? I mean, Dr. Demento is obviously a character in this, played by Rainn Wilson, who's having some fun with it. But there's this amazing scene where they are at a Hollywood party, and like Dr. Demento has brought Weird Al to this party to introduce him to Hollywood. And the gag is like everyone at the party is a weird counterculture celebrity. So it's just like this parade of cameos. Like Jack Black is Wolfman Jack. Conan O'Brien is playing Andy Warhol. Emo Phillips is Salvador Dali.
Ugh.
Divine is there. Yorma Tacone from The Lonely Island is Pee
Who's
Wee Herman.
who's
Alice
playing
Cooper's there.
Divine?
Nina West, drag queen Nina West.
Oh, fun.
Dimitri Martin is playing Tiny Tim. Paul F. Tompkins is playing Gallagher. So it's like the idea you just take every weird counterculture figure and put them all at this party together where Weird Al shows up and they're like, this guy's not legit. He doesn't have what it takes. And then he wows them with playing Another One Rides the Bus. Like in like a very confrontational way. He's like, and like Dr. Demento's like, my guy'll show you what he's got. Get your accordion, Al. And he's just like up in everyone's faces playing Another One Rides the Bus.
This is Ben and Jess explain funny jokes that they saw.
Yeah. It's a good movie. I just love the idea of a party of weird Hollywood misfits. Like that would exist. You put everybody there together. Salvador Dali, Andy Warhol, Divine, Filth.
That's a clue, kids. One of those aforementioned people will we be discussing them next week? Who can say? Anyway, all right. So, but
It's
the
gonna be our
puzzles,
podcast about Divine.
yeah. We're
And
gonna
the
play
works of John
the
Waters.
adventure game, the Divine adventure game. We're gonna play
Oh man.
John Waters' Filth, the adventure game.
Hey Ben,
That
sidebar.
each
Sidebar.
box came with a real dog shit in it. What's up?
We should make a divine adventure game. That'd be amazing. Let's do Filth the adventure
Uh,
game.
I I feel that, and I'm whispering this. I feel
Yeah.
that
Sort of okay.
to yes, I feel that I would want to pull like someone, kind of deep in like drag world.
Yeah, I think you'd need that. I think you'd
Like,
need that.
I
Do we
I
know anybody?
I mean, I know people, but
Yeah.
like, um, but yeah, I mean, to make the filthiest, because it would be like the filthiest adventure game of all time, Divine's adventure game. Like, I gotta rewatch Pink Flamingos. Anyway, so the
This
worst.
is
Yeah, what's up?
no, please go ahead.
The puzzles that we don't like, and so we like. Here's the thing: is that like if you've been listening this far, and I think this is episode 49.
Yeah. You know that Ben and I don't like any puzzles. We just want
Yeah,
our games
we're big
fed to
babies.
us. Yeah, like I want spoon fed directly into me. I don't want puzzles. I mean, neither one of us are. I think it's safe to say are people who come at adventure games from the standpoint of like, I want a challenging puzzle to crack. I don't mind like being forced to solve a puzzle, but I don't love having to ruminate on a puzzle for hours either.
Yeah, like there's like that sensation that like they'll talk about with adventure games where it's like, I tried to solve this thing and I was walking down the street and I was like, oh my god, I have to throw the boot at that rat. Um or that, what was it, the cat, to save the
Cat.
rat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Throw a
like
boot, save
it's
the
like
rat.
the worst thing about that is when I've tried to play an adventure game that way, and then I have been walking down the street, and like I do think like, oh, what if I try this? And then I go to the game, and then it doesn't work. And then I'm even more mad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, this makes perfect sense.
So
But
I have a list.
okay, well, why don't you hit me with one of the
Yeah.
puzzles you hate from your list?
Um. So here's also a proviso, that I'll another proviso that I'll put on the top of this, which is that like uh there's good versions of all of these puzzles.
Yeah,
Um. So I think this is, and one of the ones that I like, a puzzle that I never am a fan of are, if you get within the game like a quiz, and it's either a quiz like of trivia
mm-hmm,
outside the game,
mm-hmm.
or it's a quiz of stuff that you should know inside the game. Now, ostensibly, that's what a lot of the game is. Like if you're having like dialogue and you're talking with characters, that requires you to know stuff. But like I've played games where they're like where it will be like, "Oh yeah, well what's so and so's favorite color?" And you're like, "I got to go and
Ah,
have this fucking conversation, figure out this guy's favorite color." Like that's annoying. Like, like
mm-hmm.
it I never enjoy, like, first off, the trivia quiz thing. I think that's pretty self, like that's pretty obvious. It's like, I like I want the game to assume I'm a fucking tabula rasa, or whatever,
Yes,
like coming into it. Like, I just wrapped up on my stream Thimbleweed Park, and it's like, and this isn't that bad, but it's like there's little like there's a segment where you have to answer like 80s trivia questions, and it's like the easiest thing in the world. They're not hard questions,
yeah,
but it's like just something about that the game expects you to know that really annoys me.
You
Um,
know,
yeah.
like I'm trying to think now. The Wayne's World game that we've talked about on here before, of course, has a lengthy trivia game scene. That one, does it matter your answers?
No.
Is like the gag
No,
there? It's just
you
like
win no matter what.
yeah, it's like Babe Jeopardy, right? Isn't that like
Yes.
the concept of it? So you're just like answering questions about various babes, but it doesn't matter
Well,
regardless what you answer.
the very stressful thing about it is that it's such a long and tedious
It is.
section in Wayne's
And you
World.
don't know it doesn't matter as you're doing it. For all you
Exactly.
know, there are right and wrong
And
answers.
so, like, you see the other characters get a bunch of points, and you're just like, "Oh my god, am I gonna have to do all this shit again?
Hmm.
Because this is taking forever." And then at the end, it doesn't matter, which, yeah, I don't think that necessarily counts, but that is a really is that
It's a
even a
tedious part of
puzzle?
the game. Yeah, I mean, no, it's
The
not
entire
since
game is a tedious part of the game. It's
yeah,
all tedium.
yeah.
Oops. All
Oops,
tedium.
all tedium.
But yeah, like quizzes or like as I said, either a pop quiz on things within or without the game,
Hmm.
within like that format. Where it's like, all
Yeah.
right, let me ask you a question. What's this person's hair color?
Hmm. Now, Laura Bow 2 ends with a bit of this, right?
And
Like,
I
isn't
and I
that?
was I was thinking about this and I was like,
Hmm.
that's not my favorite, but I think that's fine. Like the way that the like Laura Bow or the Crimson Diamond ends, like
Hmm.
where it's like, okay, well, who's doing this? Who is doing this? That feels like something necessary to that type of game.
Right. That's a
That
genre convention. Otherwise, it's just telling you kind of like at the end of Colonel's Bequest 1, you just sort of see your notebook at the end, and it's just like here's everything you observed through the game, but you don't actually get a chance to like show that you've put the pieces together yourself.
yeah. All right, Jess, what's one of yours?
Oh man, I was thinking about this, and a game I played recently for the first time that had a kind of puzzle that bothers me a little bit. Is I was playing Tex Murphy Under a Killing Moon for the first time. A
Great
game I really
game.
enjoyed. Great
Great
game.
game.
Really, I feel sort of silly that it took me that long to get around to playing Tex Murphy because I feel like if
Uh,
I'd played it in the '90s, I
yeah.
would have been obsessed with Tex Murphy.
Yeah.
And under
You would have bought a jacket.
I would have bought a jacket. I
Yeah.
would have done the whole thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would have been still wearing my trench coat to this day.
We should do an episode on that.
We should.
Why hasn't that been on our list?
Why, hey, Ben? Could you update our list?
I'm
Like,
going to
yeah.
update our list
Let's
right
see.
now.
So, yeah,
That would be
next week.
like I love that game.
Yeah, next
Anyway,
week is Space Quest 4,
uh-huh.
and then the week after that, let's do Tex Murphy.
Great.
Okay, updated. Good. Um, but a puzzle or a kind of a puzzle format that bothered me a bit from that came with some of the dialogue puzzles, which was
Oh,
there would be like a specific way you had to navigate through a conversation, which meant like maybe it's option A when the first prompt comes up, and then option A again. And then if you don't move over to option B by the next time you have a chance to speak, it resets the whole conversation.
oh,
And
I
you have
hate those
to,
too.
yeah, you have to through trial and error figure out the exact sequence that you're going to move through this conversation because saying any of the wrong options throws you back to square one. Which really, in most cases, too, since it's Tex Murphy, it's never clear. And a lot of his dialogue options are sort of vague in the sense of like, do you want to be funny and self deprecating? Do you want to get serious? Do
Yeah.
you want to try to turn on the charm?
Yeah.
So it doesn't tell you what you're going to say. It kind of gives you a general mood of what your response will be. So oftentimes there's no way to judge what a character is going to respond to or really even what text might say. So there's in a lot of cases I feel like probably no way to get through this other than just trial and error. You mess it up and then you're in the in some of the longer ones it's like well now I'm in
And you
like
might
this
die.
yeah, in some cases you die and you have to reload and it's sort of a slow reload because you got to hear James Earl Jones do his whole spiel as the great detective in the sky or whatever. But some of these dialogue trees are pretty long too. So you're like, remember, it's like, okay, it's A, C, then C again, then B, and then A, and then I don't know what's next. So if I get the next one wrong, I may be going back all the way to the beginning again
Yep.
to try this dialogue
Yeah.
tree. That bugged. It was one of the few things in that game that drove me a little batty. And again, it's easily solvable if you're just patient especially if you're willing to jot down what the options are in some of the longer ones. It's not hard, but it's also it's unforgiving in a way that's not terribly fun, especially when these are lengthy conversations already in a lot of cases. That's one that bugs me. Another one, maybe on a similar tip, dialogue based. There's nothing I like less than when choosing the same dialogue option in a conversation like a second or third time eventually yields a different
Oh,
result. Like there's one of these in Secret of Monkey Island, right? Like a Guybrush has to ask somebody please a few times, or maybe it's in one of the later Monkey Island games to get
I
them to
don't
give him
remember that.
something. It
Yeah,
may not be secret. There's one. There's at least one Monkey Island game along the way where like the solution to the puzzle is you ask somebody for something, they say no, and then you ask them a couple more times, please, and they're like, okay, here you go. That one kind of bugs me a little bit too, just because I feel like it's lazy puzzle design. It's easy to miss. That kind of bugs me.
yeah, I agree with you. Like, I like the games that like kind of make a point of like kind of graying out. Like, I think
Yes,
doesn't Broken Sword do this? You're playing that right now.
it
Like,
does. Generally speaking, it removes dialogue options once you've asked
exhausted
everything
them.
there is to. Yeah, once you've exhausted everything there is to know, they just disappear from the screen.
Yeah, and in
Yeah.
Broken Sword, like there's a lot of cases where you can click on the same icon in like like when you're chatting with someone
Hmm.
like multiple times,
Yeah.
and it will
It
elicit a
follows
different.
up meaningfully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I think the only time like it will like it makes that clear, and then it holds on to like one final little thing that contains
Hmm.
whatever the puzzle relevant thing is. If I
Yeah.
recall, it's been a minute since I played Broken Sword, but like that I've always liked in an adventure game, like dialogue wise, is when it starts to like gray out or
Yes.
remove
Yes.
stuff, when it's like, okay, well, we don't need that anymore.
I won't waste my time with that one again.
Yeah. All right, so here's another one. The games from the puzzle, or puzzles from the puzzle box.
Puzzles from the puzzle
And so you
box.
know what I'm saying. The
I know
mosaics. I'm
exactly.
saying
Yeah.
the mosaics. I'm saying the sliding tile puzzles, which are in like a lot of stuff. And for some
Yes.
reason also mosaics seem to be like the go-to for if you're revisiting an old adventure game and like trying to throw something in. Because doesn't like Gabriel Knight 25, doesn't that throw in a
Yes. It adds
mosaic?
in a few. It has like some, if I recall, it has a couple of little hidden object game sections
Uh,
and then some mosaic sliding tile type things too to
and
pad out what's already a pretty long game. You
yeah,
know, it's not like anyone was saying it's like Gabriel Knight is too short, but
and
yeah.
and if I recall correctly, it's been even longer since I've played Broken Sword Director's Cut, which I would not recommend playing,
Hmm.
like especially now that like the remastered
Yeah.
version out
Reforged.
there, or reforged or whatever, um which doesn't monkey with the game at all. But the director's cut added new sequences. And if I recall correctly, there was a slang title puzzle in there too. Like it just
Hmm.
kind of feels like they were like the the thing about the puzzle box puzzles in games where they don't like, especially if you're gonna drop one into like a Broken Sword or a Gabriel Knight,
Yeah.
uh, is like they really feel like they're just there to kill time. Like just
Yeah.
to
I mean,
be like, we
they're
need,
almost no different than a maze at that point,
yeah.
where it's just like we need to extend playtime on this game. So we've dipped into the puzzle box and put something that doesn't entirely exist organically within the game you've been playing up to this point, but now you've got to do it to proceed. Would Towers of Hanoi
Yes.
fit into
That
this
is
as
a
well?
puzzle
Yeah.
box puzzle. And
Yes.
like, ugh. Especially it's especially insulting. I was insulted.
Oh,
This
oh
is
my
you're a
god.
bad person if you did this in your game. You're
Yeah.
bad. You're a bad
Yeah.
person. You're a bad
Yeah.
moral forever. But at the end of Kyrandia 2,
Oh, end of Kyrandia 2.
like,
What I find to be a delightful game.
um, if you put a long time eating puzzle box puzzle at the end of your game,
Next to last screen.
yeah, yeah,
Next to last screen. And do you recall what that puzzle is called in the game?
it's called like the Towers of something.
The Towers of Annoy. So
Yeah,
they
they know what they're
are,
doing.
yeah, they are lampshading the fact that this is an annoying, frustrating puzzle. And it's not a game that's built around the idea of annoying the player up to that point. I mean, there might be a place to throw that thing in to troll a player in the right game. But here it just literally feels like, hey, we're just trying to kill any sense of momentum that was going as you head into the final scene of this game. And we're going to admit right up front that this is an annoying puzzle to ask you to do.
Like,
That's not, yeah,
and you have to do it, I think, multiple times. Like, you have to get certain things out. Like, it,
it has some wrinkles to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it has some wrinkles, but they're not like fun wrinkles. And to what you were saying, like, it doesn't subvert it in any way. It just kind of makes it harder, which is not fun. Like, it's just like,
Right.
here's this annoying thing that we're calling annoying.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just like,
Congratulations, I'm blowing $50 on this kid. Now, now we're showing open contempt for
it's
you.
like, like, you're at the end of the game and you want to see the end of the game and you want to defeat the evil hand.
You want to
Oh
defeat the
shit.
hamburger
Yeah.
helper.
Like, you want to do all this, and then that, like, it just like absolutely demolishes your momentum up to that point. Just stinks.
It stinks.
It stinks. And if you
Buy
did
my
that,
book.
yeah. Like, what are some of the other puzzle box puzzles? The mosaics, uh,
Let's see. What are
Towers of
some?
Hanoi. That I could think. So Towers of Hanoi, that is in Kyrandia 2. That's in Zork 0.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and not a adventure game, but it made me mad when I saw it. It's in the first Knights of the Old Republic game.
I think that's the first place I encountered it.
And I
Actually,
remember
was
seeing that and like I was like,
yeah.
I think I actually stopped. I think that was when I stopped the game.
Wow. See, I think I didn't know that puzzle until then, and I was just like, well, this is a little dumb, but I guess whatever. And didn't realize that I would encounter it many more times in other games after that. So Knights of the Old Republic was actually my first
You played
encounter with it.
Kyrandia 2 after Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah, I didn't play Kyrandia 2 until like probably like
Oh,
2015.
okay.
Yeah, I bounced off of Kyrandia 1 so hard there was no chance I was
What
picking up.
what why what about Kyrandia 1 made you not want to
Uh
play any of the other Kyrandia games? That's strange.
it's actually one of my puzzles I hate.
Yeah, go
It
for it.
comes
Yeah.
from Kyrandia 1 was on my list. And again, not so much a specific puzzle, but it bugs me in a game like Kyrandia 1 when an adventure game relies extensively on randomization. That
Yeah.
especially as someone who we've talked from the very first episode of this podcast onward. Everyone go back and listen to that first episode. It's
Yeah,
great.
it's some of our best work.
One of our most listened to episodes. Unfortunately, yeah,
I mean, that's always that just straightforwardly
yeah,
is the curse of a podcast. Like having but it's not our number one, which is good. Number one
yes,
is Quest for Glory 1, and I think that is like one of our early strong ones.
yeah. And I mean, also a game. It's like, of course, everybody wants to hear about Quest for
Yeah,
Glory 1. It's a
everybody. I
perfect
want to hear
game.
about Quest for Glory 1
It's a
right now.
beautiful game. It's a yeah. I
And you
mean,
want to know what Quest for Glory 1 doesn't have any of? Any of these
what?
fucking puzzles.
That's right. That's right.
Like, the
Yeah.
only point that Quest for Glory 1, I think, is maybe with some of the Three Stooges stuff, but
Yeah.
even like, but those are kind of annoying. They're not.
Yeah. I don't mind trial and error if it's clever. You
Yeah.
know, like I think that you can
It's also not
do
long.
no, exactly. I mean, I even would say, I mean, let me get off topic here before I work back to Kyrandia and randomization. But you know, I even think of a puzzle like the Babelfish from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You know, this
Yeah.
infamous puzzle of how do you bounce the Babelfish
Yeah, yeah.
into Arthur's ear in the Infocom game. And while that is a frustrating, difficult puzzle in the sense that it's going to require trial and error. Nobody's just going to eyeball how to do this. And it's on a timer. You only have a certain number of moves before it's game over. But I feel like it's rewarding in the sense that if you're paying attention to the feedback the game is giving you, you can make that work. I think trial and error, much like on a smaller scale, like that Three Stooges scene at the end of Quest for Glory, where you have to knock over a candelabra and eventually drop a chandelier on them and close and bolt a door
Yeah.
and some other things like that. It's easy to figure out if you're paying attention. There, the death messages give you very good hints about where you could go. I don't hate trial and error, but I will say randomization really does bug me. And this is something like, again, as someone I was saying, you're going back to the first episode, we've been very open about the fact that we don't mind using walkthroughs. Both of us, aren't ashamed to consult a walkthrough. And now a game like Kyrandia, one where so much of it is gathering gems, like the whole game is just gathering gems at some level. And the locations of those gems being randomized and being randomized across all the screens of this game, a game with a whole lot of screens that all just look like boring green forests, beautifully rendered. But all of those sorts of elements to me aren't terribly satisfying. It just feels like,
Yeah.
again, you're artificially lengthening the game. It's not requiring
I
thought or puzzle solving. It just means that I'm going to have to backtrack. And I had bad RNG when I played this a few months ago. Like everything was scattered as far as possibly it could be from
yeah.
where I was in a given moment.
And like I think the thing about randomization with puzzles isn't just that like to kind of make it a little trickier, especially like to kind of flip the bird if you're using a walkthrough or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But also I think there's this idea within randomization that it's like, well, this will you know provide a fresh experience if you play it
Yeah.
again. Like it's like,
Replayability.
oh,
Yeah.
no playthrough is the
Mm-hmm.
same twice. And um and the thing is that like the thing about like what draws me into adventure games is that they're handmade and that they have like they're these narrative experiences, and randomized segments often just kind of feel like it's just like, oh well, we just kind of threw like a couple of the important items into a you know a randomizer, and now they're thrown all over the place. And like, well, with Quest for Glory 1, that might be a lot of fun with that randomizer because I've
Yeah.
played that game a million times.
Yeah.
Like in general, like that doesn't make it feel like I'm getting a new experience. It just makes
It's
it
not real
feel,
replayability.
yeah. And this is opening up in my head. A great example of randomization, like making like in the name of, oh, this will make a new experience, but instead it just kind of makes it annoying,
Mm-hmm.
is the entire last all of the puzzles in the final sequence of Fate of Atlantis.
Okay. Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
It's just like you're wandering around this large like area that you have to navigate, and there's like you have to get this X number of inventory items in order to like get through to get to the next ring deep within. Honestly,
You're
I think
avoiding Nazis as you're
yeah,
sneaking around this area.
honestly, most of Favorite Atlantis's last segment, I think, could fill this whole podcast.
Yeah.
I That's a
It is a
game I
game that
love.
goes off the rails in a bad way at the end. Like a wonderful game that the final sequence is really a slog to get through.
And the like that sequence, like it's just like, okay, well, I have to get this inventory item and I have to get this inventory item and I have to get this one, and it's just like I just have to wander into random rooms and hope I get the good RNG that the one I need is in this room. Oh, okay, I guess I have to try this other room now. And like that doesn't make the game more fun. I'm not like, oh, it's in this place last time I played it and
I
it's
can't
not
believe
there this
this.
time.
Yeah. Where could it
It's
be? Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm not playing hide and seek,
Mm.
you know? Like I'm
I
playing
mean,
an adventure game. Like,
honestly, this is probably a whole topic for an episode is
yeah.
like this never ending like quest for replayability in adventure games and all the way that designers have tried to achieve this, whether it's randomization or different paths through the game and things like that. And how seldom this has actually worked. Now, again, Quest for Glory 1, there's a game that came up with a pretty good way to do
I
replayability.
I think Paths is a perfectly
Yeah.
cromulent way
Paths
to
is
do it.
better.
I
Yeah.
think um like uh like Rosewater, kind of
Hmm.
like that middle segment has a bunch of like kind of, I don't
Some
actually know. Like,
randomized.
I think there's a little randomization, but it's also
There is.
kind of based off of how like your relationships with people. Like, I don't
I can
entirely
confirm that. Yeah. Talking to
know.
Francisco about this, friend of the
Okay.
pod, Francisco, and actually, Ben, big news, big news. Francisco told me that he's about to try a new sandwich place in Miami. And I made him promise to submit a segment
Oh, good. Good.
on what he eats there.
And
So
he better be drunk this time too.
yeah, yeah. Stay tuned, everyone, for another sandwich report from our correspondent Francisco Gonzalez.
But
But
yeah, yeah. No, you
yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
in Rosewater, absolutely. What you have in that second segment of the game, it's a series of vignettes. Some of them are determined by your relationship with the characters in your party. Uh, sort of like almost BioWare style. And then others are just completely randomized. So the second act of the game, you could have wildly different segments that appear based on how you've played it and just a roll of the dice at some
And
level, which works really beautifully.
yeah, and I think what makes those work is one, they're short vignettes, so it's like you burn right through them, and two, it's not like it's actually the same vignette every time. It's just that we
That's right.
randomize that there's a guy in there that instead of asking you for a red hat, he's going to ask you for a green hat instead, and you have to look on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
Like they're just all little story segments.
Self-contained.
They
Yeah.
like tiny little
Mhm.
like 15-20 minute little bites.
And then what Rosewater does beautifully is after you complete it and it unlocks the new game plus mode, I believe then you have the choice to pick what segments you get in the second act. I believe that's one of the features. And
Is
so,
that
if I'm not mistaken, I think there's some sort of control over, or maybe you just get to
I
see
think
the
your
levers behind.
the character relationships. I
Okay,
think
so
that
you can
I
just
don't
yeah.
think
Okay, made that. I may have made that up.
I don't
Yeah,
think you get to make a
you
playlist.
heard it
I
here
haven't
first
played.
in the latest patch to Rosewater. This is going to be added. This is in the next patch.
I haven't played the new game plus, but
Haven't you? I was, yeah. I think you're right. I think it may just be revealing where your stats are with
yeah.
everyone at a given time. It might help you predict where you're going. But
Um,
no, I mean, randomization can be done well, but I kind of hate the lazy version of it, like you said, where it's just like last time I played this game, he told me the password was this, and now when I'm playing it, it's different, and my walkthrough doesn't work. And everything is just a little more frustrating. Ben, what else bugs you? What gets your goat?
the famous goat puzzle.
The goat
The
puzzle,
famous goat puzzle.
the one where you have to put a cat hair mustache on a goat.
You have to move a box in front of a goat and give it a cat hair mustache. I don't know why I'm what this like voice.
Oh, this is the cat hair mustache accent that we practiced before the
Yeah.
podcast
I you
during
know
rehearsals.
I am generally not a fan of uh this one's tricky because I'm gonna say I'm generally not a fan, but I've definitely seen these done well. I'm going to say a lot of the time these aren't done well, which is to say timer puzzles. Now,
Yeah.
now the Drifter, a game that I like that came out
Hmm.
recently, that has like kind of like, you know, timer, like it's like, oh, there's a bad guy coming at you and you have to do this sequence
Yeah.
of things in the right sequence. Those work pretty okay. There were like one or two that I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like I didn't know the right place to click. You know,
Hmm.
it's like,
Hmm.
I didn't click in that one thing, of course. But like I feel that the and there will never ever be episodes about this, but like Space Quest has a fair amount of like kind of timer, or is it like timer puzzles, like, or like kind of action puzzles? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or,
And oftentimes they go hand in hand. You know, one I was thinking of,
yeah.
because I had this on my list as well. And I was actually thinking about one of your streams from, gosh, it's probably been a couple of years back now. But when you streamed Conquests of Camelot,
Hmm.
and there is in the catacombs in the final act of the game, the King Arthur gets bitten by a rat,
Right.
which now puts the whole game on a timer, right? If you don't find the Holy Grail before he succumbs to super rabies or whatever, bubonic plague or whatever it is that he's contracted like 30 minutes earlier, it's game over for you. So it becomes now this sort of race to the end of the game
Yeah.
once you've been bitten. And unfortunately, there's an action sequence in between you and the end of the game
Oh, it's that
with the
fucking guy.
Saracen. Yeah, you're having to fight this Saracen warrior who just shows up at the end of the game, kind of there just as a final obstacle.
Oh, that was
And
so
I remember
oh, that was so miserable. I
you were
hate
on the
that
verge,
sequence.
you had been bitten, and your saved game was at a time where basically, I don't know if you have had to have perfectly fought that fight to get out of it before the rat bite killed you, or if you were just a dead man walking at that point. But either way, I remember that was immensely frustrating to watch you play through. And that sort of vibe. I mean, Space Quest has one of these in Space Quest 2 with like the xenomorph style alien
Oh,
that kisses you. But that one's that's a death either way. There's no way to finish the game
yeah.
quickly enough to avoid that killing you. I kind of hate this one more in Conquest of Camelot, where now it's like, well, better finish the game, buddy. I feel like most things that rush you through an adventure game aren't something I love about adventure games. I don't want to be rushed through an adventure game. And a lot of times these puzzles that involve timers in one way or another put you in that rushing mode.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, or like the Galleria in 4, in Space Quest 4. Like where
Yeah.
you're like avoiding, and like because I
And we'll talk more about this next week.
yeah, when we finally just jump right to Space Quest 4.
And when we do that, Ben, we're actually we'll also cover Space Quest 10 and 12 and 1. I've got you on the hook. I'm actually tricking you into covering several Space Quest games next
Oh,
week.
that's so funny.
You know what really
Oh.
bugs me though? Like, I consider those sequels in that game like part of the series. And I looked at the Wikipedia entry the other day and
Oh,
they're not even
all right.
mentioned.
You can't.
I don't know who's editing that entry, but I feel like a lot of the stuff us fans love is gone now from it. So yeah, it's a real shame.
Our friend, the Wikipedia, my Wikipedia man, Grayson, has spent the better part of this week cleaning up the Space Quest Wikipedia
He's
page.
called in sick to work every day this week so he could fix the Space Quest
Yeah,
Wikipedia entry.
yeah, several long conference calls with Mark and Scott, and then the two of them together. Like,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And now it's fine. The entry is fine. I mean, all the flavor and things we loved about it are gone.
shut
But
up.
it's now just one paragraph that says the Space Quest series was some games made by Sierra starring
Not
Roger
very good.
Wilco. There were there were 4 to 8 of them. And that seems really weird to me because it seems like that would be something you could just nail down. But yeah, that's all the entry is now. It took out any details beyond that.
Yeah, some enjoy it.
So enjoy it. And then it just says citation needed. And it's not even like in the little brackets in a superscript.
Yeah, just
It just literally says comma citation needed.
yeah.
Some like it, comma.
And
Like it's
then
just part of the
you
sentence. Yeah.
click on it, and then like you just see a man laughing at you, pointing his finger and laughing at you,
I can't
furious.
believe the editors would let that by. Like, is no
Well,
one even
he's in there. He's deep in the
yeah, I mean, yeah, he's part of the deep state over
yeah
at Wikipedia.
the deep wick. Jess, do you have any other
Oh god.
puzzles that you hate?
Oh man, what gets my goat? I think there's some that I think get talked a lot about. Like, I don't hate the cat hair mustache as much as a lot of people. That's not the dumbest puzzle in Gabriel Knight 3. There's like the puzzle where at one point there's a window jammed shut and you have to rub it with hemorrhoid cream to get it open because that's going to shrink the wood enough to allow the window to open. That's twice as dumb as a cat hair mustache.
Now, does like if you examine the hemorrhoid cream, like does it give any sort of hint, or are you supposed to like kind of
Know
be
what
like,
hemorrhoid
well, hemorrhoid cream shrinks hemorrhoids, so therefore it would do the same to wood?
Yeah, I think you have to have the Freddie Farkas manual to understand how hemorrhoids work, and then cross-reference that with Gabriel Knight 3 to figure it out. But I mean, that's whatever. Like Moon Logic doesn't kill me necessarily. I feel like so much of adventure games are built on Moon Logic. I hate to pick on all those same old Moon Logic-y sorts of puzzles. People have also talked a lot about, I think this is going to be tough, when you have puzzles that are highly localized or esoteric that aren't going to necessarily work outside of the cultural context
So
they're
the
created.
monkey
Canonically,
wrench,
Monkey Wrench is one.
yeah,
I even think like I I feel like in Space
the
Quest 6.
monkey
Oh,
wrench in Monkey Island 2.
yeah. What'd I say?
No, I was
Oh,
making it clear for anyone listening.
yeah.
If
Yeah. In
they
Monkey
know,
Island 2, at
but
one point, you have to use a monkey as a wrench. And monkey wrench is apparently a phrase that only exists in American English. Everywhere else, it's a monkey spanner.
yeah,
But
but
I also, I don't think that's actually the
yeah,
case. I think it's
I was
monkey that's the problem there. Yeah.
yeah.
It's monkey, it's the problem. Um,
Yeah.
like I was even thinking in Space Quest 6, like the scene with Nigel Rancid, where you have the Mahdi chips and you have to like swap out the churlish Mahdi for the burlesque Mahdi. And
This is I clearly have not played Space Quest
yeah,
6 soon
but
enough.
just the idea is like he's got a little like modification chip in his brain
Okay.
that makes him churlish, makes him grumpy and surly and everything else. But you can swap that out for one essentially by changing labels and stuff that says burlesque instead, which turns him into like an like a all singing, all dancing review. Sort of Michigan J Frogs him.
Mhm.
Um, but it feels so tied to your understanding of the English language. And even then, like an understanding of adjectives that maybe even, they're very much SAT
It's
words.
an interesting one to have in there.
Yeah, it really is. Burlesque maybe less so. Churlish is a little weird. I think
A lot of
that
kids learned what churlish meant when they played
yeah,
that game.
myself included. So this may
Yeah.
be just a personal gripe. Then there are ones like, less of maybe a localization thing or a language based thing, but like just straight up esoteric. Like I've read about this. I haven't played Runaway, a road adventure, but in Runaway, apparently there's a
In
puzzle where you
Runaway, a road adventure?
in Runaway, a road
Yeah.
adventure,
Thank you.
um, where you have to
Could
put
be any
batteries.
runaway.
That's right. I know. It could be Del Shannon's Runaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
I don't even
but
know who that is or what that
is
reference
that
is.
the person who sang Runaway? Okay, time out. Let's see. Del Shannon.
Run away.
Yeah. Yeah, there we are. That's
Let's
him.
tell. Oh,
And as I walk along, I wonder. What went wrong? Yeah.
Forgot that was
But
Del Shannon clearly. Anyway,
I can't believe I knew that. Yeah. But you
so
have to put like
Runaway,
a road
a
adventure.
Telltale adventure.
That's the one. Yes. Tales from the Runaway. You put batteries in a freezer to recharge them at one point, which is just like basically old wives' tale kind of stuff that is being treated as like concrete adventure game logic.
Well, there's a famous example of this in a beloved adventure game. Some would say one of the best adventure games.
What's that?
That'd be the summoning rain clouds by washing a car
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good
and
one
Day of the
too.
Tentacle.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, same kind of concept. It's like, I mean, maybe you could call that moon logic, but then part of me's like, well, that just depends on culturally the idea that, like, oh, isn't it unfortunate luck when it rains right after you wash your car? Seems like it always happens. What a bummer. I don't know if that thought exists everywhere or even universally here in the
It's
United
just
States.
a thing that you just don't think of. I think for me, one of the other ones that bugs me is, and there was some of this in Machinarium, and maybe this is like you get a puzzle and then it's like, here's your reward, that puzzle 5 more times.
Oh.
Like it's just with variations of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've proven I can do this. Don't make me do it 100 more times.
Like I call that the witness. That's what that whole game is. Is it's like, you like
Yeah.
this puzzle? Now do it forever.
Is it Ben? Is it wrong if I say I don't love the mime puzzle from
Oh
Gabriel
no.
Knight One?
I also do not like that puzzle.
I don't like when like walking is around the screen is the solution to a puzzle in general. I like using my icons. I like using my inventory. I like talking to people to solve stuff. When the solution is like how I steer my character solves a puzzle, I never see that coming. I'm never mentally prepared for that when I'm in adventure game mode, and I always miss those solutions. So
Yeah.
I'm trying. There are others. What are some other examples of that? I mean, leading the goat in King's Quest One is but that's a little bit that's more of a
Yeah.
pathfinding problem that is a puzzle solution. But yeah, I don't love that necessarily because it just slips past me. It's one that frustrates me. Puzzles where you need to die to solve them is no fun either. Less Manly is built around basically an entire like half a game that
Oh
you basically have to
really?
play through and die. Oh, do you know this one?
No. I've never played that. That might be a future ugh.
Yeah. I think you could stand less manly. It's not like it's not a good game.
Mhm.
You know that, but it's also not deeply problematic in a way that would make it unstreamable. It's there's sort of this moment at which late in the game you are trampled to death for reasons beyond your control.
Okay.
And it turns out that there's no like real sense of why this happens. You've done everything right up to this point. Earlier in the game, you meet a fortune teller, and out of nowhere, you have to choose to type into the game, kiss fortune teller.
Okay.
There's nothing that would suggest you need to do this. She will then disappear. She'll like disappear, and a small lizard that's on her desk will stick out its tongue. And on its tongue is a resurrection card. And then when you play all the way back to the end of the game, like another couple of hours or whatever, when you get to that scene where you're trampled to death and die, the resurrection card kicks in and you come back to life and
How would you
continue the game.
know? Does it tell you when you die there that you need to, it's like, if only I kiss that fortune teller?
I can't remember what the hint is. I know our friend Richard Cobbett has written about this extensively as like the worst. But even I think there's some hint. Otherwise, surely nobody would have ever figured this out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still if you don't have the right even if you do have saved games, you're gonna have to replay a good chunk of the game to go back and redo that
Ugh.
and make it right. That's gross. Anytime you have to die to learn the solution to a puzzle, that's not good. That's not
Well,
good.
I think that's
That's not
enough.
good,
I
Ben.
think that's good
Ben,
enough
that's not
to,
good.
I think it's good.
I'm so angry. Why are you defending Less Manly right now?
I think it's good, like Les Manly, a good game.
Yeah.
Because that's a funny name because less than manly. That's an
Yeah.
unfortunate name for that gentleman.
Like, I guess it's short for Lester.
Well, it implies that there's a certain quantity of manhood
Uh
that
huh.
that men have, and he has less of it, which makes him less desirable.
Oh. Oh, less man.
Oh,
Oh,
you
okay.
see, because the
But he
thing
spells it with one
is
S. Then
that
he spells it with one S.
is the thing
I
is
think it's
that
just short for Lester.
the thing is that the car is at the drive-through,
Uh
and the
huh.
drive-through radio, like
Uh huh.
normally if you go to a drive-through radio, like you don't really hear what they're saying in the 80s. Now they
Mm-hmm.
crystal
Mm-hmm.
clear. They
Mm-hmm.
use
Oh
Bose
yeah.
speakers
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But
Well, they're crystal clear in some places, and other places their rallies clear.
yeah, yeah.
Now that is an esoteric, localized joke.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not allowed to complain when you're referring to specific hot sauce names. All
Ugh.
right, we're done here. We're done. Unless, do you have anything else before I close the book?
You know, I'm just glad that there are people out there making these games, and
No,
just
not
do
me.
better. Just do better.
No,
Just do better.
I hate you. If you ever did this in any of these games, even a good version of it,
Hmm.
we're personal enemies, and I hate you forever.
Yeah, that's
Which
easy
is
for you to say. You've never had to wear a cat hair mustache.
that's true. I shared this on my stream. There was somebody like one of those like I saw this on Blue Sky the other day, and it made me laugh so hard. You didn't uh you you weren't watching that night, so this will be new to you. Which was I shared like one of those accounts on Blue Sky that shares like screenshots from like video games, right? That
Yeah.
are like kind of funny. And so this was a screenshot from the video game Gender Wars, like the '90s
Good start.
video game Gender Wars, and it's like I think it was like a screenshot, and it had like the male symbol on the ground or something, and
Hmm.
it said "Men lose" or something like that. That's funny. Easy retweet.
The
And
advertisements for that one, they're pretty wild too.
oh, I bet. And somebody replies to it and goes, "Ah, Gender Wars. That's the first game that I ever worked on." And somebody replies with, "Well, did you ever see this?" And it's a YouTube video of Gender Wars, this terrible game that everyone forgot.
That's so mean.
And I was just
That's
like,
so rude.
I was just like, you're a piece of shit, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's like,
Hey,
oh
do you know
wow,
that?
this
Yeah.
game, wow, someone's sharing this screenshot. People are kind of like getting a kick out of seeing a screenshot from the very first video game that I worked on from 1990,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, you know what? That game's dog shit.
Did you see this YouTube of this guy dragging his fucking balls over the box? Did you see that?
I'm sorry. I mean, what's wrong with people, Ben?
Like, and here's the thing is that I have a feeling that I don't think that like, and maybe I'm naive here, is
Hmm.
that I don't think actually the intention of sharing that was to troll. I think the intention was I want to reply to that, and this is the one thing I know about the game.
What
You
makes
know,
people feel the need? Like, what is it that makes you have to reply to something?
I don't know, but a lot of those guys are
Yeah.
blue sky.
Yeah.
they
No, I
just
mean,
see they just see something, and it's like being in a car with like a 5-year-old or someone like a 5-year-old that
mhm.
just says everything that they drive by.
Yeah.
Dog, fire
Yeah.
department, McDonald's. Like it's just
Ben,
like
can I be completely honest with you?
yeah.
I am
I
in
do
my
that
heart
too.
of hearts
Yeah.
a reply guy. I'm a reply guy.
You're a reply of guy. Oh, I was gonna say
Reply.
I'm a person that names.
Oh, I do too. I do
I
that.
like
Obviously,
I'll just
yeah.
say if I'm sitting in the backseat of a car,
I
I
just love
am
to hear
just
myself talk.
naming
Yeah,
off
yeah.
sign.
I mean, it's exciting, yeah. But I mean, I am a reply guy in my
Yeah.
heart of hearts, which I know I shouldn't do. So I spend a lot of time on social media typing out replies to various posts, and then like once I've done that and gotten out of my system, simply tapping cancel.
I
So
do
I can
that.
move on with my life. And it makes me feel better every time. I know that I don't need to like weigh in on things that I have nothing to contribute to. But it feels good sometimes just to type it out and then go ahead and cancel that post and not be a reply guy. I don't need to tell somebody, hey, gender wars, why don't you cram it up your ass?
it's just, it's just like why do you have to what made you think that was an appropriate thing to say to someone? Were you
Yeah.
raised in a goddamn barn? Like who taught you? Who taught you how
Yeah.
to socialize? And it's like, and I say this as someone that has put my fucking foot in my mouth more times than I
Yeah.
can fucking count.
Yeah.
But it's
No,
just like, goddamn, like, come on.
God, if I'd been that developer, like, I think I would have been tempted to respond with something like really goes like, I met my wife on that project. You know, just like
We
just throw
were
out
at
something.
war.
Just throw out something to make that person feel awful. You know, it's just like, why, you know, it's like, or just right, you know, I really cared about the work I did on this. You know, sorry. I'm sorry your YouTube link hates it. I think Gender Wars probably is terrible. I'll say it right now. I'd say it to that
I'm
guy's
sure
face.
I'm sure it's a bad game, but I'm also
I'm not
sure
going to, but you also didn't type that out to this person. You didn't say, I'm sure this game you worked on is a bad game.
I'm also sure that the person that like I'm sure they probably knew that too. Like it's like
Yeah.
most people, and this isn't all people because it's like are aware, like it's like I've worked on projects in the past where like
Mhm.
or on things where it's just like, oh, this is stupid, this isn't gonna work, like, or it's like
Yeah.
this seems like it's gonna be a problem, but we got to get it out the door. Like,
Gotta get it out the door. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, this is the reality of creating anything. So, very
yeah.
few things leave the door perfect, except for really this episode. I think
Yeah, no, this episode is actually pitch perfect.
pitch Muir Mirble Purber.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's like the Swedish chef.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely early on this that
It's
turned into the
Swedish chefening.
yeah, which is good because I feel like that's an impression almost everyone can do, and there's like a level of egalitarianism to that.
Just
Do you have a
remember.
Kermit?
Oh yeah, I've got a Kermit.
You seem like I was thinking like you seemed like you'd have a
Oh yeah, of
Kermit.
course I got a Kermit. Come
Yeah,
on. Remember how much fun it was when Google, like, you can go to the language options and it had Swedish chef on the
yeah,
options. And see, that
yeah.
was that
That was
was
when they were
that
still
was when
not being
Google was
evil.
good.
Yeah,
like, like,
yeah.
like the
Now, if I
second
search Swedish chef, I will get like a page and a half of AI slop, followed by like a link to a fandom wikia at the bottom
I
of the page.
this is the first time it really violently happened to me, in that like I was trying to like reply like in the group chat to something with like just
Hmm.
like kind of like just pull an image like from Google image search and just drop it, and like 10%, maybe 10-15% of the image options in Google image search. I was looking for an image of two women speaking, like talking to each other with a like a fan in front of them, right? Like,
Okay.
two like Victorian, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
searched that and I was like, yeah, because that would be a funny thing to reply in our group chat at this moment. And as I said, like 10 to 15% of them were obvious Gen AI images, and that just
Oh,
depressed me. I would
you
like
know,
it just had that they all looked like that fucking garbage.
yeah, the Adobe stock library is now full of generative AI stuff, and there's a button to exclude it. There's also a button to only use generative AI stuff, which I would love to know. whoever has toggled that in human history. It's like I
I
exclusively want
only
slop in this project I'm working on.
I have a little switch in I have a little switch in my bathroom that makes it that I only have diarrhea when I go in there.
It's weird. It's a light switch that somehow makes the room even darker. Like I flip it down instead of up, and somehow it makes a dark room even darker. It just gets pitch blacker in there. I don't know why I put that switch in. And it's right. And once it's that dark, you can't help but hit the diarrhea switch accidentally.
So you can send us an email at questquestpodcast@gmail.com. Please rate and review. Give us 5 stars, baby. And if you want,
Unless the platform you're listening on allows more than 5.
yeah, yeah.
If it's like a 10-star platform, don't give us 5.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be funny if somebody made like a podcast platform that like did like go up past 5 and everybody's podcast is now fucked because anyway. questquestpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitch. And join us next week where
Space Quest 4!
Okay, I got it. Join us next week
For Space Quest 4!
All right, for real this time. Join us next week where we
No, go ahead, please.
we play where we talk about Ferber Wern Zero.